Hi everyone, David Nickel here. I'm doing something different this month and I'm offering my Astro notes about this next monthly cycle in this video format. And I'm going to be talking today about the main events and energies and themes of the cycle from the new moon in Aries, which was the solar eclipse on Monday, through to the new moon in Taurus next month. And this is the first time I'm doing this, so maybe you can just cut me a little slack while I learn how this works. Um, but this month cycle, I'm very excited to talk about because it is really one of the most eventful, I think, without a doubt, it's the most intense, consequential, exciting, catalytic passages of the year, and that it could represent, I don't think it's hyperbole to say, it could be one of the most consequential passages of our lifetimes. So that's saying a lot, but I think it's fair. And I want to just give the bigger picture context where this month cycle fits into the overall picture of events that's been unfolding on the planet these last few years and where we're going. So, just briefly, since 2020, we've been in this chrysalis of transformation, this period between eras, this initiatory crisis, um, this passage from, in some ways, from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, this liquefaction of the old structures, and this preparation for the birthing of the new structures. In 2025, five outer planets change sign within 7 months of each other. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, they all change sign within 7 months. And it's an enormous shift. It's historic. It's going to bring tremendously rapid sense of change and being thrust into a new era. It's so close now. We're right on the doorstep. So in that storyline, this month's cycle is tremendously exciting because it represents the catalyst, the moment that the breakthrough energies, the birthing energies. We've been in this epic birthing process as a civilization, dying and birthing. And the symbolism of this month with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's coming on April 20th is the most apt symbolism for birth, for sudden birth, for breakthrough to a new level of freedom, a very disruptive energy, but incredibly powerful, creative, liberating energy. And that's happening on April 20th. So far in 2024, since the end of January, we've had all planets moving forward up until April 1st when Mercury went retrograde. And this has created a really fast pace of forward momentum, um, a, a lot of progress towards our goals, with a lot happening all at once. And it may have felt like it's hard to keep up with all that change or that progress. Exciting though, um, much more uplifting and full of the future pulling us forward than, for instance, in the late last year when it was much more sluggish. But this sense, last month I said that it was like we're hurtling down the runway, and here we are now in this month cycle. We come through. We're coming at speed. We're approaching at speed with all this momentum. We hit a kind of turbulence at the beginning with the eclipse and some other transits I'll talk about. But there is this opportunity now to take air, to really lift off into new ground. And this is a rare opportunity, a rare event. These Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions happen once every 14 years, only will happen in Taurus once in our lifetime. And so there's a very unique opportunity to break through, to up level, to have a surprising gift from the universe. And at the same time, there can be a lot of disruption in the world with this energy. Okay, so I want to start by talking about the solar eclipse on Monday. There was a lot of talk about this one, a lot of hoopla in the lead up to it, with good reason, astrologically. So let me bring up my screen so you can see the chart. And okay, so here we are. You see Sun and Moon, 19 degrees of Aries. And you see it's in an exact conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer. Um, so, so what can we say about eclipses? For one, just the basics. I'm just going to go through the basics. I myself feel like I'm learning as an astrologer about the nuances of eclipses, but I'll share with you what I know. The most basic thing is if you pay attention during eclipse season, everything just gets more intense, like it's unmistakable. Um, there's an intensification of energy. You feel it the whole time. Um, and then within that window, there is also things happen, consequential events happen. That's another thing you can say about eclipses. You just notice things happen. It's said that fated events happen in eclipses. And it's like there's a realignment taking place. The universe, in a sense, steps in and makes a kind of karmic adjustment. And ultimately, the idea is that we can trust that this is for the purpose of putting us more into deeper alignment with our path. But you know, it can feel disruptive in the moment. And so a solar eclipse happens at the time of the new moon. The moon comes between the earth and the sun. And so it's like a new moon on steroids, meaning there's an opportunity for a big new beginning, fated new beginning. This one was in Aries, so it underlines that theme even more. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's on its own associated with new beginnings, the courage to make a first step, to initiate some process. So lots of energy around big new beginnings, a new karmic cycle. It is linked to the North Node here. So it's a North Node eclipse. They can be connected to the North Node or the South Node. The North Node is about our evolutionary destiny, our endpoint. So this is this opportunity to come into a deeper alignment and make a big new beginning that puts us more in the direction of our evolutionary destiny. So there was a lot that was made of this eclipse. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will experience something on the day of the eclipse that is really visible. And here we are on the other side of the eclipse. I myself didn't notice something particularly visible in my life in terms of extreme events. Um, the way I did experience it was more like this energetically. It's like what I felt was very deep, powerful, seismic event on an energy level that set off something like a tsunami, but deep at the deep level. And eclipses, they say, can play out in their effect like over the next 6 months. So we won't necessarily have felt something immediate, but there's a sense that it sets in motion something very consequential. Um, this one in particular was got people's attention, astrologers' attention, in part because of the challenging symbols around it being exactly conjunct, like right down to the minute, 19 degrees 24 minutes, sun, moon, and Chiron. That really is extremely rare that you get such precise conjunction. It makes it extremely powerful. And Chiron is the wound. It's a very tender place, the most tender place of the psyche. So this eclipse has that potential of triggering that very tender place of our psyche to come up for healing. It's a very vulnerable place. It's a very guarded place. So um, there's this sense of the sort of emotional power of that eclipse window. Um, and then the planetary ruler of the eclipse, this new moon being in Aries, is Mars. Mars rules Aries. And you have Mars over here in a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. So this is challenging energy. And so let's talk a bit about this transit on its own. This is another one of the most important transits of this month, the most challenging ones. So this transit comes exact. I'm recording this on the 10th, Wednesday the 10th. If I just push this forward by a couple of days, hold on a moment. Yeah, here we are on the April 10th, and you see Mars and Saturn in this exact conjunction at 14. So, so this is a hard energy. This is a challenging energy. Mars is anger. Mars is aggression. Mars is action and energy. It's dynamism. It wants to move. Saturn is control. Saturn is limits. Saturn is containment. And Saturn is patience. It wants you to wait. It will bring a brick wall at times. So those two energies together can create this state of virtually intolerable frustration, at times intolerable frustration, or it can feel like you're really, really pushed to contain that energy. And then that can lead to explosion. That if we can't tolerate that energy, we can explode. So there's no doubt about it. This is a very challenging energy. And on the um, positive side, every aspect pattern has a negative and positive potential. It can bring a kind of sustained action and a kind of sustained determination to um, make progress or to stay on track. Very, very determined to keep going, to endure, to persist. And we can move mountains over the long haul with this energy of sustained action. Um, so when you think about this transit, it's not just how it affects us on the day. It will initiate a cycle of activity over the next couple of years, and it represents where we can place that energy of sustained, determined action, where we need to, where we may face certain challenges in our life that get in the way of us, achieving our goals. And this will bring um, the energy for that. It will determine, um, depending on where it hits our natal chart, it will show where that place is where we have to bring that kind of energy. Okay, but once we get through this kind of knot of tight energy through the eclipse and this Mars Saturn conjunction near the start of this cycle, then we are racing towards the most powerful transit of the year, this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which takes place on the 20th exactly. Let me just bring up that chart. So here's the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at 21 Taurus on the 20th. It's really cooking now. We're very much in the window. And on a personal level, this is a very exciting transit. This is Uranus is the principle of sudden awakening, of freedom, of new possibilities, of downloads, divine insight, of a disruptive energy, but a very creative, original energy, going beyond constraint, going beyond the norms, the conventions. And Jupiter is the energy of it expands and uplifts what it touches. Jupiter is the knowing that the source of reality is fundamentally benevolent and good. And so it, based on that knowing, it has this confidence and this generosity, this hopefulness. So when these two come together, it really can be a beautiful blessing, a very creative opening that happens for us where we're surprised, we didn't see it coming. We had lost faith, perhaps, that it would ever come. And Lord knows we've been through these dark times recently where our faith has been stretched to the absolute limit. It's been called the Praise the Lord transit, where because of that, because we thought things were lost, and then this comes in and a bolt of lightning. Uranus is like a lightning bolt that we didn't see coming, but it reminds us of the benevolence of the universe, where we're elevated to a whole new realm of possibility that we had forgotten about, didn't even know about, and can happen really fast. It's the energy of quantum leaps. And breakthroughs, personal breakthroughs in consciousness, in our creative visionary projects. It expands Jupiter, the progressive impulse, which is Uranus. Uranus is about breaking new ground. So, depending on where it hits your chart, there's going to be some area of your life where this breakthrough energy is available. And it only happens every 14 years. So it's a rare opportunity to to experience the higher potentials of what life is about. Um, Jupiter Uranus is like, it's a pretty sexy transit. I mean, it's like rock and roll. It's a like electric guitar. It's a like LSD. It's sort of um um got some razzle dazzle to it. Finally. Um, and um, on the collective level, as I was saying, it is a disruptive energy. It can go kind of both ways on the collective level. It has been associated historically with major breakthroughs in science and technology, um, in culture, um, and socially and politically, with these enormously significant uprisings, revolutionary movements. We had a Jupiter Uranus conjunction at the very beginning of the American Revolution, the pivotal events that launched the American Revolution. And then 14 years later, another Jupiter Uranus conjunction with the storming of the Bastille and the launch of the French Revolution. So just think of those energies at that time, and that kind of um, after a long period of oppression, suffering, something breaks out and breaks through and catalyzes a movement, a very powerful movement for change. Well, here we are again. And in terms of science and technology, so many of the significant technological breakthroughs that now make up our modern world have taken place in Jupiter Uranus transits, including it's often associated with breakthroughs in air travel and flight. So I think we're going to see some big up leveling. Obviously, AI is huge at the moment. I won't get into um, the pros and cons of that. Obviously, there's some very big ethical issue at the moment, but just from an astrological point of view, um, very much fits that we'll see huge advances in that sort of technology. It's in Taurus, which relates to abundance, can relate to money. So it could be new forms of money. It is interesting. The Bitcoin halving process is happening the day before the Jupiter Uranus transit. So you could easily see a big leap in Bitcoin's value. And, there may be other developments in that sphere, the crypto sphere, potentially. But it could, on the more challenging side in the world, it is, as I say, disruptive and can be impulsive. And in some of the more with the volatility that's going on in the world, that can be challenging. That might lead to these sort of reckless actions. This is the thing we want to watch and hopefully avoid. But I think we're going to see big disruptive events on the world stage that are revolutionary in nature, that are going to catalyze this very potent process of social change that is going to lead us into these this historic period of rapid epochal change that's coming next year. So I think that is the main thing I want to say about this cycle. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is so big, it really dominates everything else. Um, and and so in terms of how to align with this cycle, what I would say is um, just to welcome every door of opportunity that opens, to walk through the door of opportunity. It's not a time to play safe or play small. The universe is on your side, our side, in terms of it wants us to take that quantum leap. So when that comes, let your heart uh, respond and walk through that door. Um, okay, everyone, have a momentous month. I'll see you next cycle. Bye for now.